Yep, this is an album by the record label. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the New Music Podcast. My name is Shiloh. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Bert.
And today, we're doing another episode for you here. We got 5 albums and 1 EP to go through. Micah, would you like to tell them what this week's albums are?
No, you didn't send me the list, and I had to go find it out. You said,
Oh, hold on.
We didn't talk about order. We forgot.
Yeah. Okay, boom. We're good now.
Okay, all right. We have Billie Eilish with "Hit Me Hard and Soft," and then we have One Whole Elephant in One Whole Cage with their new album "Neon Pill," and then we have Adult Gambino with how do I say that?
It's Atavista, I believe.
All right, and then we have One Singular Crumb with AMAMA, and then we have Gatecreeper with a Dark Superstition.
Yes, we do. And before we have any of those things to talk about, we have an EP to go through briefly.
Yeah, Bad, Not Good. Mid, Spiral, Chaos.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like this is the first in what's at least a trilogy. I don't know how many of these they're doing, but there's another one that has, I believe, come out at this point, and then there's another one announced even further than that, I do believe. So, like, we got a whole cycle of these mid-spiral EPs going on, and I think this is a pretty good start to it.
Yep.
Second time we've really ever talked about jazz on this channel, I do believe. What'd you think of this one?
It was pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It was jazzy. There's jazz in my ears.
Yeah, it's some, like, kind of, sort of abstract jazz fusion type stuff, but it's definitely not deviating too far from the formula. But it all sounds super good, and I really like it.
As Bad, Not Good usually would.
Yeah, Bad, Not Good is good, not bad, as is typical.
Straight to the gulag.
Straight to the gulag. It's true. Honestly, I haven't listened to that much of their music in the past, but everything has seemed pretty decent, and I don't think this is much of a deviation from that.
I've heard Sour Soul and 4.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I've been meaning to dive in a little bit more, but as more of a solid starting point, I'm fine with this too. Did you have any specific songs that were better or worse than the others to you?
I believe the opener and the closer were the ones that I marked down as my favorites. Just like the opener with the smooth, just like hanging out, smoking a cool cigarette in the dark kind of jazz.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it leads into the end of the EP, where now we're driving a car real fast, smoking a cigarette at night.
It does feel much more like soulful and big on that one. Love how the drums hit on that track and the one before it, where they get all fast and stuff. It's very nice. One
thing notable about Bad, Not Good is their drummer. That guy fucking slaps.
Yeah, man.
He knows how to do a very good jazz drum fill.
Absolutely. I can tell, and everything's mixed super well across this project, so it makes the drums sound even better than they otherwise would.
Yeah, they've always been really good in their mixing, even as far as I've heard, at least. The earliest thing I've heard from them is Sour Soul from 2015, but even back then it was awesome. Very musically intelligent individuals is how I usually describe this band.
That definitely seems to be the case, and that's one of the reasons why I feel like with jazz I'm a little bit out of my depths here, because I don't really know what to critique exactly, but it all sounds instrumentally very nice.
I don't think there's anything that wrong. It's good. It's just straight good.
Yeah, what I was basically writing down the whole time I was trying to annotate this album is like, yep, that did not exactly blow me away or anything. Like, nothing was like, wow, this is exceptionally something I'm going to listen to every day or remember very specifically, but everything is just hitting my ears and sounding super good. I think the track that stands out to me the most is actually the second to last, because it took kind of a rock feel, which is a little bit more in my comfort zone, I guess.
Last Laugh? Yeah, I totally understand that. When it comes out there with the high notes on it, I don't know how to say that without sounding like an idiot. But
Yeah, me too. I think there's guitar used on this. I'm
yeah.
correct in that, I do believe. Yeah, right.
They use guitar in almost all their songs.
I do believe so, yes, because if it wasn't guitar, I would feel extra stupid. But yeah, I think that one uses the most guitar, and it just kind of has that, like, faster pace feel. And I really like that one in particular, but all of this went on my jazz playlist that is slowly growing as I try to culture myself a tiny bit more.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's definitely good to have in the rotation so that you can have on in the background, and even on like more close listens, they're still just good.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah. This is some
Good, not bad.
good, not bad. Yes.
I hate you for putting that in my head.
This is some ear snacks, bro. It's just nice little food for the ears.
M&M's for the ears.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Is that all we have to say then, besides scores?
Yeah.
Did you give this a specific score anyways?
I gave it a 75.
You gave it a 75? I actually went with an 81 on this. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's just so hard to complain about.
Yeah, there's nothing to complain about.
Yeah, right.
I don't even think.
It doesn't come very close into crossing into perfect territory for me, just because I don't walk away like, oh, that's something very specifically unique that I can't get anywhere else. But the whole time I'm listening to it, it's like, yeah, dude, this is awesome. Total score between the two of us of a 78. We can definitely recommend this one. Do we want to move on to our first album of the week?
Yeah, we have Bilford Eyelash with their third album, Hit Me Hard and Soft.
I could eat that girl for lunch as she dances on my tongue. Door, can you open up the door? I know you said before.
Now, Bilford Eyelash has I'm waiting for you to say something about saying Bilford Eyelash. I was hoping that would be it.
The eyelash substitution is like a 2018 joke. I am sorry, man. Have you gone outside recently?
Was she even around in 2017 is when her first thing dropped?
Yeah. When we all fall asleep, where do we go? Correct? Right?
Nope. It was an EP, Don't Smile at Me.
Oh, yeah. The one before that. Either way, eyelashes or not, Billie is back once again with this album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, one of the biggest releases of the year so far. It is
pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good, most definitely. It's receiving a lot of love and respect across all platforms. People are digging it, fans are digging it, and I think that it's just about perfect for what it could be. I feel like this is the album that all of us who have been kind of saying that she has something special, I feel like this is the album that we knew that she was capable of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was always just like a passing listener, and I was like, yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, definitely.
But this was sick, dude.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting this to just come out and then be as good as this is. It was not a lot of lead up to this, surprisingly, given how popular of an artist she is. It didn't just drop out of nowhere. There was a little bit of promo and lead up to the album, but it all feels very sudden. And it's like, hey, yeah, I'm just gonna suddenly drop the best thing I've ever made by far.
Oh, easily. Like,
yeah,
man, I was like not impressed with like recent pop releases, I think is fair to say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what pop was releasing that we've listened to.
What's coming to mind is Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande, and both of those albums. Yeah, both of those were a little underwhelming. I wouldn't say they sucked. Well, I don't know. The Taylor Swift one definitely wasn't good, but the Ariana Grande one was underwhelming, and that's kind of what we've had in big pop this year, I think.
Yeah, which is bad.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
Right, yeah. Those ones, in comparison, I don't think people are going to be playing those a lot. I don't think people are going to be coming back to those, but this one is like a discography-defining, super big artistic switch. It's a pretty profound release all the way through, and I think it reminds me in a way of when Tyler, the Creator, dropped Igor and was just getting this like universal praise, as opposed to there being kind of a cult fan base that was saying he was the best at that time. you know, and like really diehard fans and a lot of other people who were just okay with his music. Now this is crossing over into people who weren't fans before, saying that she's now an amazing artist.
Yeah,
Does that comparison make sense?
it makes sense. It's a fair comparison. I'd have to say, I'd almost compare it to Flower Boy more, almost, just because
Yeah.
like that was the moment where everyone was like, oh hey,
Right, that was kind of his beginning to crossover moment for sure.
if she follows that trend, then that means she has another better album, which is whoa.
That's true. Yeah, I am more of a Flower Boy person than an Igor person, but they are on equal levels of quality for sure, if not Igor being the better and more like modern classic type of album.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. This does feel like one of those albums that is going to be the next generation's reason for saying they're born in the wrong generation.
For real.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a list of those recently and that instantly came to mind.
That's really funny, actually.
It's just one of those moments. I think this is going to be remembered for a long time. Like, this one has some lasting longevity and some real power behind the music here.
Been slowly like trying to like skim through really quick while we were talking, trying to figure out which track I wanted to actually nail down as my favorite. I don't think I pick one favorite. I'm gonna give you 3 tracks that I feel like are standouts here.
For sure.
Skinny,
Great one.
Chiro, track 3, Chiro.
I think it's Chihiro. I'm not exactly sure.
Chihiro?
It's a Spirited Away reference, I believe. But yeah, either way. Yeah.
And then track 9, Bittersweet.
Bittersweet was a standout for you, really. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
okay.
that one. That was
I'm gonna twist that on its head real quick, but really, I don't think that there's a big gap in quality between any songs here. I think that it's very consistent, and it's all taking this pop feel and bringing it to this mood that really fits the album cover. It's this dark and watery feel that I guess feels like you're sinking in water, I guess, as she is in the cover, if that makes any sense. Like, this is one that sounds like its album cover, but it gets a little bit of pop appeal in there, and it still just has so much artistic intent as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it's very consistent, and it seems to almost follow a narrative, with this opener being a very introspective and just kind of airing out some sad feelings, but then you have the songs that follow that being more like love songs, and then once you get to Wildflower, the rest of it feels like a breakup album. Yeah, right, like lyrically anyways.
Yeah.
And then it's very vulnerable and emotional across the whole thing. I do like that, you know, the stuff she's saying on here is pretty easy to interpret, but it's not exactly surface level.
Yeah. This is gonna be the album that gets a lot of people into that weird shit.
Right, yeah, it does definitely cross over into a more experimental lane, and I think the closing on here with Blue is maybe the most experimental we get, and I think it's such a great send-off, and really wraps up those concepts I was just talking about.
Oh yeah, Blue is really good. Looking through all of these tracks, I can't pick one as a least favorite at all. All of them are just really good. Like the opener, Skinny, now that I'm like listening, I think I like the opener the most. That's the one I come back to a lot more.
I come back to that one a fair bit. I think the easiest song to actually come back to is Lunch, if we're going to point at one. I think that's going to be the hit from this album, because there just has to be one with such a big artist. And I think it's so funny that that's the most accessible song on this album.
Lunch?
Yeah, Lunch. The lyrical themes on this one are a little bit just wild, just really getting freaky with it.
It's definitely the catchiest song on the album.
I would say, yeah. It has the like strongest definitive chorus, and it's not necessarily something that makes me love it more than the others, but I think there's multiple perfect songs on here, so it's not like I'm criticizing this one. It's a weird sounding track in some ways though too, but it's the catchiest, it's the most accessible, and it's still so much weirder and more different than a lot of the stuff that you hear. Another mainstream release that we could call back to is Dua Lipa a couple weeks ago. If you compare any song on this album to any song on that Dua Lipa album, it's just so much more interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
That is facts.
She's really just kind of sitting in her own lane with this one, making something really conceptual that has these wildly varied sections and everything. The way that we go from like a bossa nova thing into a synth pop thing on L'amour de ma vie.
That's another standout track.
Yeah, what a weird track. There's a very specific mood to the start of it, and it's kind of like a bossa nova vibe, like I said, but kind of reminds me of La Fée, I think is the artist's pronunciation. Yeah, I think I was corrected on that pronunciation before, but either way, her music kind of sounds like this, and I did love her most recent album as well. So kicking it off on that and then just going on to that like explosive synth pop bit at the end there was very interesting to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the exact transition. I found it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so cool how she's incorporating so many different genres and styles into this. I don't think there's really any dull moments, despite it being an album that kind of feels cohesive with its mood. You know, it does switch things up just enough to remain interesting for the whole listen, I think.
Yeah, and what's nice too is it's not like 13 years long. It's only 43 minutes.
Right, yeah, and it feels like less. It's an album that I can really put on and just kind of chill out to, as opposed to wanting to do something else.
That's why it was so hard for me to take notes on this album. I kept doing that.
Yeah, right? It is one that's very conductive of just kind of chilling with it on. I actually ended up out and about pretty far from home during a thunderstorm. I do believe I was keeping you updated on it was a huge storm, the hugest we've had around here in a while.
Hey, that doesn't belong there. Get out of the road.
And at one point, I did just go ahead and park my car where I figured it would be a bit more safe. And I just turned this album on and I listened to it front to back while just relaxing with the rain downpouring on my car. And it was such a mood, man. God, I loved that listening experience. That was the perfect atmosphere for this, I think.
That's a vibe and a half.
Yeah. And I mentioned to you that I might make a comparison here to Joji's album Smithereens, and I had the same setting when I listened to that album and started loving it, and I think this album exists with that one kind of in the same space in my mind.
Same bag, different place.
Yeah, for sure, and totally different artists, somewhat of a different style.
Oh damn, dude, the transition from where'd it go? From L'Amour de whatever the fuck to the diner.
Yeah, it's good transition. That section of the album, though, is actually where I feel like I could critique it the most, because I do think that some of the switch-ups there, especially with how Bittersweet just feels overall, gets a little bit messy and kind of loses the plot. Bittersweet was actually my least favorite on the album for that reason, just because...
Oh, no.
Yeah, it does just feel a little bit messy to me, and I don't think I was getting that towards the front of the album, nor do I get that at all with the closer, but the run of 3 tracks from L'amour de ma vie, The Diner, and Bittersweet feels a little messy to me, but at the same time I do like that it's introducing new concepts. Those aren't bad songs to me at all.
I thoroughly enjoyed those transitions and that bottom half.
It's fair.
Because of the shenanigans ensuing. I felt like it was freaking out right before the end of something.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're talking about a breakup vibe. It was perfect.
That makes sense. I do think that your assessment there is just as fair, for sure, and I could see people having either one of those experiences with it. This is going to be one that's a little bit up to interpretation, but most people seem to be loving it, and I think they should be loving it as well.
Facts. What was your score?
I ended up with an 87 on this.
No fucking way.
Do we have the same score?
We have the same score.
That's crazy, man. I love that. I love that it ended up being the same. That's awesome.
That's really funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, pretty fucking good album. I guess that's all we really have to say on it, right?
Yeah, dude. Not speaking of pretty good fucking album. Up next we have It's the Elephant with Neon Pill.
I need your touch right now, right, wrong, got me floating like a rainbow. I may never see you again, it's a ball and chain with the golden hand. I have no shy eyes, have I become a pastime, pass by?
That was the strangest transition you could have possibly mustered there.
Yeah, I did it on purpose because that's how this Cage the Elephant album made me feel.
This is a band you've been into for a little while. I assume you've heard most of their music before, right?
Everything besides Thank You, Happy Birthday.
Honestly, I have not really dove into much of their work in the past at all. I just kind of know the big songs. I know Cigarette Daydreams. I know Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. Those ones are some bangers that I've kind of inherited from just hanging around you, honestly.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this is my first full album listen from them for sure.
For just a little bit of background, Melophobia was like pretty freaking good, and then Tell Me I'm Pretty was like decent. It was good. But Tell Me I'm Pretty is my favorite. Melophobia is definitely their best.
Okay. Yeah.
Social Cues fucking fell flat.
Okay.
It's fucking weird.
I think I've heard a song or two from that and didn't mind them, but I don't really remember.
People really like the first couple of tracks, which I think they're doing again on this album. Is where like the first couple tracks are pretty good, and then the rest is just like mid.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I kind of like the first few. Honestly, some of my favorites are a little bit later on. I think Ball and Chain might be the best track on the album, but that's kind of jumping the gun on the conversation here.
Your base neon pill opinion.
I'm neon pilled with this discussion. No, I didn't love this, but I liked it. This album reminds me a lot of AM by Arctic Monkeys, and I kind of like and dislike the same thing about it.
See, what's funny is I recently went through Beck.
Okay.
So like I'm coming off of Odelay. And so like Ball and Chain sounds like a Beck song a little bit.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I'm honestly just not that familiar, but that would kind of make sense. Okay.
This is a hot take, potentially a hot take. It's probably a really cold take, but a hot take. Cage the Elephant and Beck, same genre.
Okay. Maybe I actually have no idea. I have not listened to enough Beck to know, but yeah, I mean, you know, when you're just kind of in that regular rock zone, that indie rock feel, this is kind of just playing by the standards. This is playing softball indie rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
American softball. Or no, Canadian softball. That's the band.
Is that an actual band? Is that like playing off of?
It's a modern baseball parody band.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were just making that goof.
Or American football. Yeah.
Okay.
I get Midwest emo bands mixed up so much that at some point you just could say like two random words and it's probably a fucking Midwest emo band.
That's true. Fucking Soda Headphones. That's what I'm looking at right now.
I'm gonna look up Soda Headphones right now.
Knife Lint Roller.
Okay, well, Soda Headphones isn't a band, so it's our band now.
Okay, sounds good. We will make
My
Midwest emo
project.
And I mean, Cage the Elephant, not that far off of a name. Kind of random, kind of absurd a little bit, but you know, for some reason it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why it makes sense, but it does.
The elephant in a cage, or don't.
Don't probably. I don't think they like it.
You wrote on it.
I think it's a Beyonce horse situation. Don't stand on the horse, you know.
Blabbermouth gave this album a 90, and I just want to know where they get their stuff from.
I don't know. I don't think this is 90 range for sure. I think that that's definitely steep, although I'm kind of surprised to see that it's not a bunch of publications just giving this a 10 for no reason, because it does kind of feel like one of those albums that would happen with.
I don't think critics like Cage the Elephant as far as I can... Yeah, I know they hate Cage the Elephant, bro.
That's so weird because, yeah, this is literally like AM again. That's genuinely how I perceived most of this. I think that it has some of its own stylistic deviation. This thing feels like driving in the desert. That is the comparison made. It just kind of feels like there's a bunch of sand and I'm on a road trip.
I hate sand. It's coarse and gets everywhere.
Yeah.
I was wrong about critics hating it. Critics just are okay on it. They give it a 70 consistently, besides the first album has a critic score of 62.
Okay. Lukewarm, but that's fine. Yeah, totally. Based on my limited perception, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I don't think that's too far off from how I'm feeling, I guess.
I'm not gonna lie, that's not even crazy far from how I'm feeling.
Okay.
This just falls in the mid category.
Okay, gotcha. And as a fan, I just assumed that you were hoping for a little bit better, I guess.
Yeah, I mean my hopes weren't too high because the last album I really didn't enjoy. This album's rated worse, but I don't know if that's fair necessarily.
Yeah, I think that maybe people have just leaned towards kind of disliking this sort of sound more than they they did in the 2010s, because I guess it has been exhausted a little bit more. And I mean, some of this stuff is pretty butt rock vibes. I mean, I definitely feel that way on Shy Eyes. It's like, this is something I would be hearing on like rock radio in 2015. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was one of my least favorites, but yeah, it's just because sometimes this gets in a real generic bag.
You said Shy Eyes was your least favorite? That's totally fair. That's one of my least favorite too. I think Out Loud takes the least favorite.
Out Loud, really?
I'll do it again.
That one,
I don't know, yeah. The bottom, like, tracks like 6, even 5. You can throw 5 in there if you really want to. 5 to 9, they all just kind of like are the same. Like level of mid for me.
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stand by Ball and Chain. That one's kind of a banger. Like, I'm pretty okay with it when I listen to it.
You're allowed to be wrong. No, I'm not gonna do.
I like that one has a little bit more edge to it. It's got a little bit more kick in there someplace.
A little more butt, a little more rock.
Yeah, totally, man. For sure. I love that 2 albums in a row that we've talked about, or well, maybe there was a week in between, I'm not sure, but 2 albums that were not in the rap genre have used the phrase get lit. That's kind of funny.
Facts. There was a week in between.
Oh, was there? Okay. Either way,
Yeah.
kind of funny. Notice that. That's a very out of place, weird little thing they got going on with that, like, kind of party song vibe with that one. I don't know what to gather from that track in particular.
Which track was it?
I'm trying to remember the actual. Good Time. Good Time was the name of that song.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe that was the one. I'm trying to remember. There was one that I noticed had like a billion writers on it, and it sounds like a mess, as you would think a song with like a billion writers would.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I meant to dive deeper into the track Metaverse just to make sure it wasn't terrible.
Oh.
But I didn't. Did you ever look into that track?
I can't say that I did. I remember hearing it and everything, but
Yeah, it's super vague. I'm reading the lyrics and it's just super vague.
yeah, a lot of it is really vague, and that's kind of what you get with a lot of like radio rock kind of stuff and like this mainstream appeal indie rock is it's gonna just not necessarily have anything super substantive.
What is blood yapping about?
I think
I'm, like,
maybe
reading
the
the lyrics.
best lyrics are on Rainbow.
Painbow. That's one of the better tracks.
I just think that it's got some of the better phrasing, and yeah, that is definitely one of the better tracks. It's grown on me a little bit more even as I re-listen to this album rather. I think that one's just really catchy. I think you got some catchy stuff on here that's just fun and you don't have to think too much about it. Honestly, when it experiments a little bit more, that's when they kind of lose the plot a bit.
Yeah, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Because like before when they were doing something a little quirky, a little different, that was like the better tracks.
Yeah, you would think, but
Well, I'm saying like on their old stuff.
yeah, right. I mean, you would think that still would be the case, but I think when they're just kind of playing it safe is totally fine, and I'm just all right with those songs. But yeah, and towards the back of the album, it kind of falls off a little bit more, and I think that's because they were trying some different things that I just don't think hit.
Yeah, they're a little past their prime, I'd hate to say.
I would totally love to see them do something awesome again, and I think that is very possible based on the sounds that I'm hearing here, but I don't think they went into this with a ton of ambition.
No, definitely not. I don't
No.
I don't know if they have it in them anymore. After Melophobia, they dropped Melophobia, Tell Me I'm Pretty. Those are pretty good albums. Melophobia was like objectively better and more experimental, I guess. And then they were like, all right, mid.
Yeah, and unfortunately that's just kind of what appeals to a big audience, I guess.
This is some fucking hipster shit. That like hipsters are going like this. We're hipsters, but we're not these kinds of hipsters. We're worse.
I don't think we're hipsters. We're just maybe a bit pretentious for our own good, honestly.
Yeah.
It's become different now, and I love that being a hipster no longer is actually liking like super underground stuff. It's more just going for things in kind of this bag that are like a little bit alternative, and this feels a little bit alternative.
I'm about to send you the similar artist tab, and it just makes too much sense.
Let me see here. Yeah, no, dude. Arctic Monkeys being the first one.
I only haven't listened to Wolf Alice. That's the only artist that I've on this list that I have not like gone in depth.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Arctic Monkeys comparison, really, I'm standing by that, like, strongly. I think that it's the best thing you can compare this to.
All of the bands besides like 3 of them have black and white photos too. Which is really funny.
Yeah, dude, it's the hipster stuff. It's the hipster stuff. You gotta have the black and white photo.
Oh, damn it. I have a car seat headrest tattoo.
Oh well. I don't know. Do we have anything else to say about this? Any other like favorites or least favorites? Anything like that?
No, it's fine.
No. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine album.
What's your score?
I ended up giving this a 64. I think it went up when I was drunk.
I gave it a 60.
You give it a 60?
Sober.
Not bad.
Stone cold sober.
Stone cold sober. I agree with the 64 for me right now. In sound mind, I also agree with the 64, but I think your 60 is also totally fair. I don't think this should dip into the negative because it's not really doing anything super wrong.
No. I think
No.
60 is extremely, like, yeah.
It's fair.
Anyways, back to some more better music. Childish Gambino.
No. Yeah, Atavista. Let's run it.
That's gonna make you move and groove. Step algorithm. You can set that slow. You smell like a peach cocaine. You think I'm being someone else, sweet thing.
So this is a re-release of 3/15/20, right?
Yeah, is that the actual timestamp? I'm not sure. I've just always referred to it as the timestamp album.
Yeah, it's called 3/15/20.
Haven't really come back to it if that's not obvious.
I dropped a 50 on it. Oof, I'm looking at my old score. It's a 50.
That's so weird. We have the same score on the old album. Oh, that's so funny.
Oof, I forgot this album completely, by the way. I just always assumed he had 3 albums.
Yeah, right.
Even even after this.
I think that's generally what people did.
Well, now he has 4 albums.
I think that's generally
Oh, yeah.
what the consensus was just like, yeah, that's not a real album. It just kind of exists.
He's got the one that didn't age well, the one that gives you nostalgia, and the really good one.
Yeah, right. If we look at Awaken My Love as kind of the swan song there, it's like, oh yeah, no, that's a really good discography.
Yeah.
But now adding on Atavista, a finished version of 3:15:20 is super solid, I think.
Thank God.
No, yeah, totally. It's actually pretty great. I think there's problems here, but I think that mostly comes down to how much ground he's covering. And I think that it's showing how much ground he's covering, the fact that these songs are actually like finished. Because in its unfinished state, it felt like it kind of washed together a little bit more to me, if I remember right. Because again, it's honestly been years.
Oh, I don't remember it a little bit. I fuck this album. I'll this album specifically. The finished versions, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like what he's doing with this kind of concept of not having a concept is how it feels to me. It really jumps from one thing to the next, but it feels like there's an umbrella of something going on between track to track, you know?
Yeah. Concept, get rid of it. Throw it away.
It seems like the concept is not having a concept, though. It really feels like
Yeah.
these things jump from sound to sound very dramatically. Like, you have a soul song next to like an electronic song. I mean, we're everywhere, bro.
I feel like it all works up until track 7.
Track 7.
Little Foot Bigfoot.
Fuck that song. I was hoping that you were referencing that. Oh my god, I do not enjoy that in the slightest. I get what he's trying to do, but
This would be such a good album if he just deleted that track.
I get what he was trying to do with it, because it's, to make this comparison is even a little bit sad, but the song Bullet by Hollywood Undead is what comes to mind, where it's like you have this happy, joyful, almost like child song type tune, but then the lyrics are like dark and depressing. And it's like it feels that way to me, like that was the concept of juxtaposition going on, but it commits to it a little bit but not really, and then beyond that it's annoying. It's an annoying song. I woke up with that song stuck in my head and I was like, no thank you, I gotta listen to other music immediately.
Dude, I forget about it every single time. I just skip it. I listened to it like once or twice, and I was like, fuck this track, bro. I'm never listening to this shit again.
Right, yeah. I was just sitting there listening to Sweet Thing. Really good track, such a nice little vibe to it. Kind of reminds me of Redbone if we're gonna compare it to his previous works. Nice and lovable and elegant, and then it just jump scares you with that track. It's terrible. Then you have just kind of the interlude moment, but then that goes on to Human Sacrifice, and I guess that kind of kicks you into the last portion of the album, which is also good. But yeah,
it brings it back.
yeah, to have a centerpiece that's so like ugly is like, hey man, can we not?
Literally just delete that track. It's fine.
Yeah,
This album's like mid 80s if you delete that track.
I think that's probably fair. Yeah, that one did bring it down a fair bit for me, so I would have to agree. I think this album kicks off on a super strong start as well, though.
Oh yeah, I like it even all the way up to like Psilocybin.
Yeah, Psilocybin, yeah, which is a very
Psilocybin.
funny title that probably would have worked a lot better in 2020 when this originally dropped, but
Parentheses,
hey.
Millennial Love.
You know, you probably could have just called it Millennial Love at this point because Psilocybin is a little bit cringe, but I'll take it. The song itself is pretty awesome. I like the storytelling that happens on there. It goes on a bit long, but I like most of it.
Yeah, and then 21 Savage is in there too.
Yeah, it's weird how well he works on that track.
Dude, 21 Savage sometimes just kind of hops on random shit and just is like, yep, this works. Adios, amigo.
Yeah. You know, he's really more versatile than you would expect him to because he's usually just kind of doing the same thing.
He's British.
Versatile in, like, down to his human presence. No, to hear him over, like, something this psychedelic and weird is strange, but it's fun.
It's like the Little Yachty thing all over again.
Right. I mean, this did exist before. Naturally, this is an old song being remade, but...
Yeah, you mean made, finished.
Yeah, being
completed.
I guess.
So what was the story did with that? Did he just like drop it unfinished on purpose?
I guess? I really don't know.
Didn't he call it like unmastered or something?
It was just always titled The Timestamp, I think, and all of the songs were listed as the timestamps as well. I don't really know what happened there. I know that it came out as a video, I think just like on its own website, if I remember properly.
Yeah, something like this.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I know he deleted
Yeah.
the album from streaming.
Yeah, he has now because this one replaces it and takes its place, which is
Good.
Which is good. I think that this is a much more fitting version of it. However, I would like to say something interesting about it being completed now is that you do notice that some of the sections are a little bit more barren, like a little bit more empty than they probably could have been. Sometimes it's a little bit like still rough around the edges and maybe you could have added a little bit more. I think the moment that I noticed that the most was the song with Ariana Grande on here, even though I do love a lot about that track.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that was missing a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of salt, a little bit of fucking pepper on it.
Right, yeah, it almost seems like we could get a third, even more completed version of this album, you know what I mean?
Real.
Yeah, and this could be like our middle point.
Yeah.
But it's good enough. It's good enough. It's fine. Like, this is still more completed than a lot of albums that you hear being pumped out in the modern age. I think that there's more of a concept to these tracks. There's more heart put into it and a lot more thought put into it than some mainstream stuff you hear. Well, how about the track Algorithm? That's awesome. Isn't that awesome? I like that song.
That's right, it's fucks.
Yeah, right? Decent concept, a little bit corny with the title again, but I'll take it.
I don't know, man. I think Childish Gambino, a little corniness is just to be expected at this point.
Right, yeah, it is kind of baked into the personality, and that's why I don't roll my eyes quite as hard as I normally would with a title like that.
I really did like, I know we're talking about track 2, but like Final Church though?
Oh yeah, super good. Really love the way this album closes out. And then the violence right before that, when he's just like sampling his daughter talking, I believe.
Yeah.
That was super cute, yeah. I do like that. This like heads out on a pretty decently uplifting, I guess. No, it's just very solid and climactic and soulful when we get to the end point there. And I feel like we're hopping around this track list so much and not really staying on the same songs. But again, that's probably just due to the fact that it's so all over the place.
That's the vibe.
That's the vibe. And it's a good vibe. I like it.
Are you ready to move on to the final score?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've said enough. I went with a 73 on this.
76.
76? Okay. Cool. Kind of on the same page. I think both of those make sense. I was leaning more towards the 7 out of 10 side of things, and you were leaning more towards the 8 out of 10 side of things, but...
Then Littlefoot, Bigfoot played.
Right. Yeah. There's a little bit of misstepping happening here and there, but I think that the best songs on this are amazing, and I don't think there's many moments I actively dislike at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Want to move on?
Yep. We have Crumb, a band I've been a big fan of for a long time, with their third album, AMAMA. AMAMA.
Yeah, I'm not sure which way to say it. Probably AMAMA, right?
AMAMA. Yeah, I believe so.
All right. You're the Crumb guy. Talk about Crumb to me right quick.
So they dropped the album Jinx in 2019.
Okay.
And then they dropped the album Jinx again, but called it Ice Melt in 2021. And then they dropped the album Jinx this year and called it AMAMA.
Oh, so you're saying that they're very consistent with their sound and just kind of doing the same thing?
Hey, look, it's psychedelic rock. Hey, look, it's psychedelic pop. Look, it's psychedelic pop. Their first two EPs, Crumb, their self-titled EP, and Locket,
Okay.
bangers.
Yep.
Very good EP. This is a very good EP band. But then you drop fucking just three of this. It's all a good album. Like it's going on in the background. It's good, but it's not like it's not great.
Okay. Okay. So this is one that kind of more falls to the background for you as well.
Yeah, it's like, bro, do something else. You good motherfuckers have been doing the same shit for like 8 years.
Fair enough. I mean, it is somewhat of an experimental sound to begin with, though, so it's like they kind of have their bag.
Yeah, but if you've been doing the same experimental sound for 8 years, when does it stop being experimental? It's pissed me off really bad.
Probably a good 5 years in, I guess.
You know what? I can forgive them up to Ice Melt. You know, that's 5 years. I can forgive them up to Ice Melt. Bro, please. Dude, what were the singles on this album? I can't remember.
I have no idea. I think the title track was, because I do remember you playing that for me.
Title track and The Bug.
Okay.
I heard those tracks. I believe those are the most experimental tracks on the album. Yeah, those are the most experimental tracks on the album. And then the rest of it is just filler. They made an EP, a good EP, and then filled in around it.
That makes a lot of sense based on my actual experience with this, because I was going to come into this and be like, okay, explain to me what I'm supposed to be liking about this.
This is the most accessible, like, psychedelic pop, fucking, whatever you want to call it. Trip hop is a genre tag, I guess. Whatever, who gives a shit?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Psychedelic pop.
I'll give you that.
Psych pop, psych rock, neo psychedelic. Fuck it. Indie, who gives a shit? I'm so mad.
This thing, like, it's a thing. You can hear this
good.
thing. It sounds fine to me, and that's about it.
It's all good. Like, you know, this is I'm gonna listen to this, drop a 70 on it, never talk about it again.
That's totally fair.
Dude, let me read you these scores. User score on Jinx, 74. Ice Melt, 73. AMA, 73.
Yeah. It does kind of seem like they might just be doing the same thing and people are digging it, so they're just still doing the same thing. If there's not a push for you to change, then maybe just not change, I guess.
I get it. Man, when their fucking EPs came out, I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And then their first album came out, and I was like, alright, we're doing a full-length album.
Okay.
This sound okay? Bro, I'm tired, dog. I want to go to bed.
I feel like maybe this is, like, not a good hopping on point for me then.
Terrible hopping on point.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense,
bro,
because I was sitting here.
Go listen to the 2 EPs, Crumb and Locket.
Okay.
6 tracks, you're done. You listen to it all. Congratulations.
Okay, that's totally
I'm so
fair then.
heated,
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. Did you like Crushed? That was the one song that kind of like stood out to me specifically, I guess.
Oh, yeah. That was the best track on the album.
Okay, yeah. I think so too.
It's here, let me go find the same track on Jinx really quick. I think it's okay, yeah, kind of. Maybe Ghost Rides it. Sort of.
I don't know, man. It seems like a band that kind of exists in their own space.
Who are they compared to on Album of the Year? Hold on. Let's take some guesses. Who would you guess? Like, what artists are you like comparing this to, if any?
Oh God, I don't. I would ask you that question.
Okay, so I immediately point towards like the Flaming Lips, Melody's Echo Chamber.
Oh sure.
It's the same audience as TV Girl, but not the same sound.
Right.
Let's see what I got right. Okay, so shit. All right, so it's King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is number 1.
What?
I fucking don't know, dude.
Okay, I guess. I mean, King Gizzard has done everything. You could put them under any related artist, and it makes a little bit of sense for like one album.
Melody's Echo Chamber is number 2. Sure, Tame Impala is number 3. Same person again.
Okay.
It's fucking white girls who read books.
Those are some nice people. We'll give them their props.
If you listen to Crumb, you're probably a good person. I'm not even gonna lie.
Read some books.
Yeah. Tame Impala TV Girl, Roar. Do you know who Roar is?
I don't think so.
Oh fuck, no fucking way! You don't know who Roar is? You gotta listen to this EP right now. Fuck this
Alright.
episode. You gotta listen to this EP.
Derailing it to go listen to an EP immediately. No. Yeah, okay. Well, genuinely, I'm just glad to hear that I wasn't missing something, because I just felt like this album was going over my head. I tried it a few times, and then I was sitting here thinking, okay, I really gotta dial in and listen to this one again and you know, really get it. But every time I attempted it, I'm like, oh, this sounds nice. Okay, that's all. That's just been it.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
You did it.
All right, sweet. Well, I don't know. Is there much else to say?
Nope.
It sounds cool. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go listen to the EP. Don't listen to this fucking album. I don't want to support this kind of behavior.
Just listen to the EP over and over again.
That's what I did in high school.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. I'll check out the EPs. You know what? Fuck it. I'll run it.
Just the
see
two
if-
EPs, though.
Okay.
The first one is 11 minutes, and the second one is 15 minutes.
Whoa. All right. Not very much listening homework, but I will have that. I will have that for sure.
And I also sent you the Roar EP. You gotta go deep dive into them.
Oh yeah, you did send me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got some homework. I got some homework.
Lots of EPs to listen to tonight.
Yeah. That's awesome. Love it. Love a good EP.
What was your score?
I'm with a 68 because I couldn't bring it much lower than that without understanding what I'm supposed to be getting.
I gave it a 70.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, landing at 69.
Yeah. It's illegal to give it anything less than like a 70, but if you're jumping on though, you could give it a fucking 0 for all I care.
I'm just confused, bro.
Oh, that's funny.
I love that this, of all things, is the album that confused me, though, because it just, on the surface, it looks like something that would just kind of be like, oh yeah, I get this, this is cool. But the whole time, I'm just sitting here like, oh, okay, thanks. Like, what?
That's really funny, dude. I heard this album the first time, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Like their EP a long time ago. I was like, fuck yeah.
Okay.
And then they just kept dropping it, bro.
All right, well, I'll check out the source material then.
Alright, what we got next, bro? We got fucking Gatecreeper.
Gatecreeper.
Metal.
Dark Superstition. Metal.
This is metal.
This is metal. Man, okay, so I have a strange history with Gatecreeper because I was somehow under the impression that their last EP was their first project. I have no idea how. Literally, like, there is a whole discography before that. I was like, oh, this is a cool new metal band. And so when I saw they were dropping an album, I'm like, oh yeah, shit, let's go. They're making an album. They have like 4 other albums or something. Like, where was I at? Where was I at? I don't know where I was, but either way, I really like their last EP, An Unexpected Reality. I just checked that out because I thought the cover art looked really sick, and then I thought the album was really sick too. It's got a bunch of like really short songs. There are 7 really short songs followed by their 11-minute song Emptiness, and I just thought Emptiness was fucking killer, and the rest of it was too short to get tired of. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude, they're doing something cool. They have 3 other EPs before that and 3 other albums before that. Where I was at when those existed, I have no idea. But either way, I thought I was following this band closely. I wasn't, but here we are. Dark Superstition, nonetheless. What'd you think?
So, you know that whole spiel about Crumb?
Yeah.
Make it metal?
Oh, dude, fucking exactly. I noticed something when reading through on things here a little bit. This is their first record under Nuclear Blast.
Oh, that's a
And looks like they were signed before to Relapse. And then their EP actually came out under a fairly lesser known label called Closed Casket Activities. And I think that the label is massively influencing what this band does.
Yeah.
Because this sure does sound like a death metal album released in 2024 by Nuclear Blast Records. If you told me that, it would just sound like this in my head.
Nuclear Blast is a 7 machine. Like, everything's a 7. Carnifex has a Nuclear Blast label. Oh, dude. I think they just let Carnifex do like Slow Death, and they're like, oh, that's pretty good. Let's do that for every other band from now on.
They know what sells to the metal elitists who
Yeah.
only like metal. If you only like metal, this is gonna sound good to you. But like, dude, I could really use something else. I like all the genres. Thank you very much.
It's Carnifex. You just sell them Carnifex.
I remember liking Carnifex a little bit. I like their album Die Without Hope, I think.
I fuck Carnifex. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm adding that to my very good cover arts list now that I'm looking at it. That's badass. But anyways, totally unrelated note.
I have nothing to say about this album other than, yep, this is metal for 37 minutes. Didn't offend me. Every track got a 7. The album got a 70.
Oh, really? That's all you you gave it that much? I'm lower. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude.
Yeah, this is passable. Like the blast beat on Oblivion, for example, like stuff like that is what kept it from getting like a fucking 60. Because I was like, okay, this is cool at least.
I feel like this band has creativity. They have some sort of artistic intent buried in there someplace.
Yeah.
But I really feel like the label is grabbing their hand and saying, go this way, right now, immediately. Because you see these little flash in the pan moments where it's like, oh, that's cool. That's sick.
Yeah.
But then it just goes back to basic death metal noises. And it's like, bro, can we not? The track A Chilling Aura on here, I think, is the most, like, off the beaten track they really get. And I think that one's pretty solid. I would re-listen to that song.
That one fucks.
The rest of this, I don't know. Mistaken for Dead has cool lyrics in it.
I'm reading the lyrics.
It's like it's somewhat of an interesting concept. There's some good ideas. The rest just doesn't stand out to me. There was something tried with the closer. It's kind of doing some power metal vibes on some of the riffs. I really feel like that was kind of the one gimmick this album has to attach to, is that some of the riffs were big like power metal usually is.
I don't know why, but this made me laugh.
What did?
This screenshot I sent you, I'll send you the full screenshot, but like I just read that at the bottom of the Apple Music page. Like it was this, but I just read the words record label in all caps, and I was like,
Yep, this is an album by the record label.
Yep.
I feel like they're just being held in one place, and it's pretty unfortunate because I really liked that EP.
Gatecreeper, blink twice if you need help.
Yeah, honestly, dude. I hope they're getting a bag, and I hope they're signed to a 1-album contract because I would love to hear some more interesting stuff from them.
4 eels.
When they got ideas, they really got ideas. When they do something, they're doing something. I had to look up if this band has a bass player anymore. It's just mixed like that.
They turned him off, bro.
Yeah,
They deleted his part.
yeah.
It's like when your little brother was playing video games with you, his controller's just not plugged in.
Yeah.
They shouldn't plug in his bass.
Yeah, honestly, it is just like unplug the amp. There's a couple seconds where I'm like, oh, there is a bass guitar. It's mixed that stupid, like, shitty way that metal albums are in the mainstream now that annoys the fucking piss out of me. Where it's just all, like, vocals. Like, you can hear the vocals pretty crisp, and you can hear the guitar pretty crisp. And everything else just sounds like balls.
Ball.
Balls.
It's a vine.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I got bored of this talking about this album, and I found out Lana Del Rey is dropping.
It's like soon. I saw that she was at some point.
This year. September.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
2 months away.
You know it's boring when you start caring about Lana Del Rey. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. How about you?
Oh, I have less to say. I said more than I wanted to.
Okay. You want to take some of it back?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your score?
70.
70? I would not go that high, to be quite honest with you, but
I didn't know the lore.
I gave it a 55, so we ended up at a 62.5. I can't quite get past the level of indifferent with this. Like, I can't really call it bad because it's technically proficient, but I never want to listen to this again, and I never want to listen to a super generic death metal album ever again. No thank you. I will listen to literally the band Death, and then we can just ignore the rest, as far as I'm concerned.
For real. I feel you. Hey man, remember when we called Pearl Jam's album cover Lego Bionicle Eye of Sauron?
Yeah. I do recall.
I needed something to make me laugh.
This did get a little depressing. All right, well, moving right along, I do believe that's every project for this week. Metal is in a rough spot in the
When the
mainstream
fuck
right
did
now.
you talk to me about Tally Hall?
Oh God, do not get me started. Let's move on to the rankings for the week. We'll start on the scoreboard here. Wow, we have a really close race for last this week because we've Cage the Elephant just barely in last place at 62%. And then coming only 0.5% above, we got Gatecreeper, Dark Superstition. Unfortunately, at this point, we have rambled too long about. Coming in at a very nice, crispy 69%, we then have Crumb with AMAMA or AMAMA, whatever.
Among Us.
Whatever you want to say, Among Us. 74.5%. Childish Gambino's completed version of his album from 4 years ago, Atavista. It's awesome. Go check that out and go find whatever your favorite song on it is, because it could be pretty much any of them.
Besides, I forgot the name of it.
Littlefoot Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Yeah, please leave.
Only one.
If that one's your favorite, there's somebody out there. There's somebody out there who really likes that one as compared to the rest of the album. There's probably a lot of someone's out there. And I'm joking. You don't have to leave. I'm being inflammatory. But
I'm not.
you're not. No, we still love you over here. It's just your taste's a little fucked. But
Let him cook.
let him cook. Yeah. Billie Eilish coming in way higher than pretty much everything.
Bilford Eyelash.
Still not her name, still a 2018 joke, but Hit Me Hard and Soft is a 2024 album that is not a joke. In fact, it's quite a masterpiece, I would honestly say, as far as her catalog is concerned. We're putting it on 87%. I think we even both considered putting it higher, potentially. Well, I think that basically wraps it up, though.
Yeah, this was an episode.
Yeah, this was an episode. Micah, do you got anything to say to the people before we head on out of here?
Baja Blast is the water in the fountain of youth.
That's absolutely facts. And very wholesome. We'll see you next time. Hello, everyone. And why did I sound like fucking Shakespeare or something? Jesus.
Hello, Gabna.